Okay. Good afternoon, guys. Wishing you an early happy new year as well. I'd like to give a shout out to our football team. It's getting ready to play tomorrow night. Sark and our teams had an incredible year all season long. I'm biased. I think we have the best team in the country, and we're about to win a national championship here. So, wish them the best of luck tomorrow night. Also, like to ask you guys to help us a little bit too in terms of spreading the word that our games tomorrow against UTA's at 1 o'clock. Playing against a very well-coached UTA team that has played a really good schedule to this point right now, and they'll be a really tough team to deal with tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark Rosner. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, Rodney, how much has DuShun and Shedric played together since Dylan's been back? And the fact that he's making threes, does that influence maybe how those two could play with Mitchell at the same time?
Yeah, Mark.
Maybe spread the court.
Yeah, for sure, Mark. Those guys have, from day one that DeSue's been back, he's played with him in practice every day. In some form or fashion. They've been out there, on the floor, one at the 4, one at the 5. And really, truth be known, when last season ended, you sit down, you have meetings with your guys, and you talk about things that you want them to improve and work on over the course of the summer and into the fall, and what you need them to do better next year. And one of the things we talked about, Double D, was about being a guy that really spread the floor for us and shot a lot more threes. And so he's doing right now what we asked him to do and to work on this summer in this fall previously, because we knew, again, we were going to go out and we were going to get us a 5 that was going to be able to continue to run the floor and do those other things as well. But those guys, we knew when we signed Caden that those guys could complement each other and play together.
Jeff Howe, thanks for joining him. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Scott. Rodney, I know you talked earlier in the year that going back to last year, team defense was something that took a little bit to get going. When you broke down the film from UNCG, did you feel like there's stuff in there that you feel like it sets a good foundation for conference play that can start carrying over, you can start to build on?
No, absolutely. I mean, Jeff, right, probably 2-3 weeks prior to the LSU game, a week prior to the LSU game, I thought we started getting better. We started having more competitive practices. Guys were playing harder defensively. We were flying around a lot more. Now, we drilled that quite a bit, and then we had carryover in the games with it, and I thought a couple of nights ago, we had our best defensive game of the year from start to finish. We've shown flashes throughout the course of the season, but being able to sustain it for 40 minutes is the first time we did it for 40 minutes where we played hard. We didn't let our offense affect our defense. Even when we weren't scoring, we continued to play hard and we continued to get stops. So there was a lot of growth in our game the other night against a really good team, a well-coached team in UNC Greensboro.
Noah Gross, please.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. You and every other coach in the Big 12 has said it's the best conference in the country. As one game away from conference play, with those 5 newcomers, maybe with the exception of Shedric, who played in the ACC, how do you get them ready physically and for the onslaught that is the, I think, 18-game schedule in the Big 12? And where do you think they are in that process of getting ready for it?
Well, I think we break the season down. I mean, the season is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and you have to continue to build your team and trust the process throughout the season. The first part of November, we were really just trying to work really hard on identity and how hard we're going to play. We're going to run the floor on offense. We're going to share the ball on offense and move the ball. Who are we going to be every night? As we got into December, we started really trying to work on the details. Guys continue to execute our offense, execute what we're doing defensively. And as you get into January's the grind, and again, we do have the best basketball conference in the country. We've proven that in non-conference slate to this point right now. But what we've done in terms of our body of work outside of playing one another. But in conference, now it's the grind. Who's going to embrace the grind, hard, competitive plays. You're fighting for inches in the Big 12. They're going to be possession games. What's going to separate you? Are you going to be a team that can put consecutive stops and then come down and execute your offense and take value, taking care of the basketball? That's what Big 12 basketball gets down to. Got great coaches in this league, have great players in this league, and obviously have great venues that we play in. So, with that combination, again, this league from top to bottom, any given night, you got to bring your A game, whether you're at home or you're on the road. You're gonna have to bring your game and play at a very high level.
Jeff Howe, please.
Rodney, just looking at the assist to turnover numbers for Max and Tyrese the other night, I think it was 10-5. What's an ideal number that you'd like for those two guys specifically to be at? And I know you weren't happy with turnovers earlier in the season. Do you feel like those guys, at least their effort to take care of the ball, making better decisions, do you feel like that part of it has improved, where it's not just being careless with the ball? That's
We're in a dream world. We're really talking about a crystal ball dream world. We'll say 0, right? We say, hey, but no one's going to play a perfect game. Basketball is a game of mistakes and adversity. And, in the midst of games, we have no problems with the basketball turnover. The ones that we really try to work hard on our guys is not having the careless turnovers, ones that we don't have unforced turnovers where there's no pressure, Jeff, that forced the turnover, So I think, again, if, 2-1, 3-1, we love to be able to have some type of ratio like that, and stuff. But I think just, again, understanding that we play really hard on defense. We work really hard. When we come down on offense, we have to get a shot every time. We can't we can't come down and work really hard on offense and have an empty possession when we don't get a shot. That's the thing you really try to instill in your team and understand we don't beat ourselves. We give ourselves the chance every time by playing really hard on defense, okay, and then trying to execute and get a great shot on offense.
Roz, go ahead, please.
You mentioned Dylan working on his shot, in the offseason. He was injured. Did he have to do that LaMarcus Aldridge drill that Barnes taught him sitting in a chair?
He did that. He sat on that stool, man, and he shot after shot after shot, and really just grooving his shot, and trying to get a high release in there a little bit as well. It worked pretty well for the last guy that sat on that stool and did that. He had a Hall of Fame career, 17 years in the NBA. But no, I think there was a lot of work with that, and DeSue got a chance to really groove his shot, and he feels really good about shooting the basketball right now.
Jeff Howe again.
Rodney, just real quick, what kind of, I guess, do you like the frame of mind your guys are in right now, this time of year where, home games, the students aren't there. It's kind of a weird time of year, the holidays. Do you like just how your guys are coming to work every day?
I love how our guys are coming to work today. We came today and put in a great days of work already. Really, I would say probably a week, and I go back to that again, a week prior to the LSU game, we really started having competitive practices, and the kind of practices where your team was getting better every day. They were physical practices, competitive, and we've had those. And again, from the time we've gotten back now, we've kind of picked up right where we left off in terms of how hard we're playing, how competitive we're playing. And I always tell guys, you practice the way you play, and your practice habits are your game habits. And, and I'll be honest, we've had some really good carryover into the game the other night in terms of flying around and trying to go at a team that can really shoot the basketball. We're going to have to do it again against a really good shooting team. UTA is a really good shooting team, so we're going to have to do it again in this ball game coming up tomorrow. But I think one of the biggest plays we've had to this season right now, I'd go back and earmark the possession where Dylan Mitchell just sold out and dove for the ball. That's, to me, again, that's identity. That's telling the other team that you want it more than they want it right now. And we're here to out-compete you. But again, to your point about students not being here, our students do a tremendous job for us when they are here. But I think, even with that in mind, I always tell our guys, we have to bring the energy to the building. as well in terms of how hard we're playing and how connected we are on the floor.
Any follow-up, Jeff?
No, I just forgot to put my little hand deal down.
Got it. Noah, go ahead, please.
Hey, Coach, this obviously maybe a no, but I know you've talked before about what you can pull from football with the women's team and what happened to Rory. You're someone that's preached live where your feet are. I don't know if learning is the right word, but is that something you can kind of talk to your team about appreciating the moment, and you never know when something like that can kind of happen?
Well, Noah, very unfortunate thing that happened. I mean, Rory, she's had a tremendous year to this point right now. And, I put a slide up, a couple of weeks ago with a picture of her and what the body of work that she had done to that point. And there was a picture right next to her, TJ Ford. And the message to my guys was she's in a position right now to where she has a chance to lead her team to a national championship. She has a chance to be National Player of the Year with the way she's playing right now. But she makes everybody else around her better as well. Got a chance to coach TJ Ford while I was here previously, and we went to the Final Four and had a chance to win a national championship as well. He did the same thing. He's one of the top assist guys in the country, made everyone around him better, was an incredible leader. But she was having that type of year. I think we have greatness all around us on this campus, whether it be individual student athletes that we have on this campus, whether it be elite coaches on this campus. And I listen to all of them, and I try to take notice of everyone because everyone's elite at what they do. And I was at a Christmas party, and we were talking with Coach Reese and the legend himself, and just talking about what went into winning for him so consistently and every year where he won 1 million national championships, right? And the biggest thing that came from him was, you have to really try to instill confidence in your players, and what's really in their chest, in terms of how bad they really want it. And then I think at the end of the day, too, you have to be smart, too. This time of year, we all want to come back. We want to work hard and get our guys trying to play at the highest level, but we also have to have our guys fresh. One thing I've learned from Coach Reese is don't leave it on the practice court. You need your guys to be fresh, mentally, physically, and ready to play at the level you want them to play in games. So, thing I learned from him is, make sure you get what you need to get done, get in and get out, and let those guys be ready to play when it's time for them to play at a very high level.
Two last ones. Jeff, go ahead, please.
Rodney, I know you're talking about your support for the football program. I know you've been to some games this year and supported Sark. There's probably no shortage of football guys in that locker. Can you hear me? Yeah, there's probably no shortage of guys in his locker room that think they could go across the street and play for you. Is there anybody on that roster that you look at it and at least think, man, I at least wonder what that would look like if they came over here and gave it a shot?
You know what? I'm sure there are a lot of football guys always want to be basketball players, and a lot of times football players, right? Because a lot of times back in the day, a lot of those guys were dual sport guys, and they were guys that excelled on the basketball court just as much as they did on the football field, and everything. But man, you know what? Every time I know Malik's not with us anymore, but every time I saw him in the dining hall, I would always say, man, you're a big guy. You're 6'6", 6'7" quarterback, man. That's a big guy right there, But we've got linemen that are big linemen, and tall linemen as well, But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Sweat could come over and set some really good screens for us and be nimble on his feet and get some things done around the basket, kind of like Big Baby back in the day,
Mark Rosner, try to follow that, please.
Good question, Jeff. Yeah, Rodney, as you're starting conference play, I think all these teams know who Max is, and they'll be, probably gearing their defenses to him. Well, how do you counter that? To make sure he can stay involved, because people do chase him.
Yeah, you know what, Roz, Max, man, he's had that his entire career. He's had a bullseye on him from day one in terms of what he's been able to do and put it in the books. He's a smart player, and a lot of times, guys, they really play off of him, in terms of, It could be an action we're running for him. It could be it could be even in transition. He causes a lot of attention, but he's also a guy that shares the ball extremely well and makes other guys around him better. So, it's really hard to come in and say you're going to stop a guy. We never go into a game saying we're going to try to stop the other team's best player. We're going to try to contain him and not let him hope they have one of those great nights. But I think Max has done a great job all year long, making other guys around him better, knowing that he has a bullseye on him. And but he's played with that his entire career.
Everyone, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. Happy New Year. Have a good day.
Happy New Year, guys.